Hello and welcome to a VO's Journey podcast. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. This is episode number 228. I know it's been a little while, but things have been crazy, and that's exactly why I want to talk to you today, because I got a lot of stuff on my mind, and I want to share it with you, and hopefully an interesting perspective of, the voiceover journey today. But I'm moving. So we sold our house, and we're moving to, it's only about 30, 40 miles away, but it's to a little more rural area. And, we bought a farm, so my wife, because she has her horse business that she started. So we're going to be doing that, which means that, this studio that I've built, everything I've done, I must start anew. And we're going to talk about that, and that I'm scared out of my mind. All right, let's do it.
This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica.
All right, so it is good to be coming back to you guys and talking to you again on the podcast. I have been going back and forth about the move and everything and what's been happening with that. And, we if you followed, we were supposed to, we had gotten land earlier in the year, but that fell through, and we were trying to sell the house and that fell through. Then we tried to rent the house and that didn't work. And, we tried to find another place and that fell through, and the financing and, my discoveries of the ups and downs of being, self-employed, right, of having our own business. And I think, and the reason why I want to talk about this stuff today with you is because, yes, it's about the journey. It's about a VO's journey, but it's also about some perspective, I think, that, I didn't have when I first started my voiceover business, that I want to give you about being in, voiceover, and what that means for your future. Okay. And what it can mean, because I think I had no idea, and you don't know what you don't know, and you don't even know what questions to ask, because you don't even know what challenges might come in front of you. So anyways, fortunately, we have, we've found a house. It's under contract. Everything has gone through. We literally put our house up for sale, and it sold in one day. Literally, it sold in one day. And under like 24 hours, not kidding you. It was insane. I don't know why it didn't do that before. I think the price range was off, or we went with a different, more well-known agent, and that was it maybe did the trick. But anyways, the house sold in one day, over asking price, so we were very beneficial, very, very, very happy about that. And now we did the inspection. Everything is now good to go, and we've got to be out of the house by the morning of the 10th. Like by the 10th of December, we've got to be out of the house. So we need to be, out by the 9th. So literally it's about like 3 weeks from now. So about 3.5 weeks. So we're kind of, freaking out a little bit, excited, right? And on top of that, the interesting thing is that we're really thrilled about where we're moving, but the place where we're moving, we literally need to renovate the place immediately. So we've decided to start the renovation immediately. So once we take possession of the house, and that's on the 13th. So first off, when we move, or when we get out on the 9th, we kind of don't have a place until the 13th. So we might be staying with some friends, maybe some hotel rooms. But then when we do take possession of the house, you know what I mean, we're going to be, gutting the house, and starting the renovations. So, there is a barn on our property. We're not going to be using that for the horses because it needs to be kind of torn down, but it's good enough to store, like our furniture and our hay and stuff in there. We can store that in the barn. And, listen to me storing hay. I'll be telling you guys, I've never thought that I would be telling you I'm storing hay in my life, but this is where we are. Anyways, nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's interesting how life changes. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about today, and your business and my business. All of these things going on, I think to myself, first off, none of the stuff that we're experiencing now would have been possible without this voiceover business, and it's really, it's amazing, and it's exciting, and it's like awe-inspiring to me about what, the possibilities of being independent and running your own life, and making some success on your own. I mean, it is a beautiful thing, but it also can be really super scary. And, so to me, with all these things, right, and I'm sure you guys might have thought about it, like, crap, what am I going to do for recording? And I think that, especially, like, for example, if I'm in a hotel room and stuff like that, we've seen the things about making, booths, making makeshift booths in a hotel room, or, doing stuff like this. But I think that, I didn't throw away my hobo fort. I still have it. Now, I have my whisper room, of course, but whisper rooms are not things, you put up and take down lightly, right? I mean, they are ridiculously heavy, and it takes some time to put it up and take it down. It's not easy, and it takes a couple people. So, it's it's kind of one of those situations where I'm not going to put the whisper room back up until it goes somewhere where it's going to stay there. And then on top of that, we're thinking about, changing, because we're renovating the entire house because it needs it. And, so like I've thought about building a separate studio outside, and I've gone back and forth, but I think the reality is I'm going to build a separate studio outside, something like 12 by 24, something like that. You know what I mean? And get it insulated and everything. And so, there's things, but this is like, and then we have to build a new barn, right? And we've got, I mean, there's it's quite a bit of work. And the reason why I'm bringing this up too is because, if you think about it, I never considered, I always dreamed that it would be so cool to do mobile, like be mobile, right? Because this business does allow some sense of mobility, right? But if you've never gone mobile, it can be kind of scary. So, like, I'll be honest with you, I'm excited that, the academy is going really great. We just have the most amazing people in the academy, and the coaches are amazing. And I mean, it's really going well. It's growing. I'm so blessed to be a part of all the journeys that we have in our academy. We're almost to 200. I think we were at like 182, 183 members. It's absolutely wonderful. So like the academy and the, one-on-one coaching I do, and the mentorship program that I do one-on-one with people, that I can do anywhere as long as there's like a internet connection, Wi-Fi or cell phone, because I have unlimited data, so I can just, share my cell phone, use a hotspot on that. But when it comes to so that's fine. But when it comes to the voiceover, right? The voiceovers, that does frighten me, because it does, it is, as you guys know, right? It's harder to record on the fly for a period of time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could probably make one or two things work here or there, but it's a challenge to, especially if you plan on, because like, for example, at the house, and this is what's kind of scary too. I don't know how I'm going to, if we're renovating the house right away, which I think is we decide it's the right thing to do, because if we get everything in there and we get settled, it's just going to be a mess. Right. But we're still going to need to live there in the meantime. Okay, while some things are happening, but we'll need to be out of that house. So I'm not going to be working in the house. You know what I mean? We're probably just going to be sleeping there at night and then going other places during the day. So, I think it's one of those situations where it's kind of like, well, where am I going to set up my studio? And I do think that I have a place. Fortunately, I have some family in the area, my wife's parents, and they've said, I can set up something like a makeshift booth there. So I might literally bring over my hobo fort and my equipment, and just basically set it up there almost exactly like I have set up here. Do you know what I mean? But with a hobo fort instead of my whisper room. and set it up in their house, and that might be the best thing for me to do. Do you know what I mean? So that way that I can do it there. But other than that, it becomes it's just worry. It's just scary to me, because I think I've never done it before. And when and this is something this is another reason I wanted to bring it up with you guys. I'm just contemplating talking out loud with you about our journeys. If you think about it, when you have a job, that job, or your main source of income is that main source of income, right? And if voiceover is not your main source of income yet, then like if you stopped doing voiceover tomorrow, you still have your main source of income. But once your voiceover business becomes your main source of income, right, then it's it cannot stop. And here's the thing that I've talked about a lot in the past, and I haven't talked about more recently, but I'm starting again because it's coming up in my life, right? Is that are you building a job or are you building a business? And I want you to really think about that, right? Because a job is like something that you have to do, right? That if you stop doing your job, right, you might have some paid time off or something, but if you stop doing it, right, you are not going to be paid anymore, right? You're going to stop making money, right? Whereas a business, all right, building a business, and I look at building a real business as building an asset. Can the business pay you a salary? Absolutely. But if you build a business, if you own the business, building a business should mean that you can walk away from that business and still earn money from it. All right. It's not dependent upon you. Right. Does that make sense? Okay. And, it's so like for me in the voiceover business, right? It's like I love doing voiceover and I will always do it. I will always do voiceover and I'm so happy I can do that. But I look at it as one of those things where, like I said, what happens if you have to stop doing voiceover for a month, but voiceover is your only income? Now, I'm not saying these things to like freak you out or anything. I'm just saying these things like that's why when I talk to people about like meditation and meditation voiceovers, right, and selling directly to the client like B2C, right, and pre-recording meditations or affirmations or nighttime stories or ASMR, these different things that people like to listen to or like to rest to or meditate to or go to sleep to, right? And they can buy a file from you, right? So then you've built actually digital products, which, let's be honest, I did that video the other day on NFT, which I was really surprised about the differing opinions on NFTs. But anyways, so I'm really bullish when it comes to digital products, and because that's how we can build our assets. Here's another thing. That's why I was always a big advocate. When I first started in voiceover, I was really all in on royalty share because I thought, hey, it would be cool if I could make a couple $100 extra a month for not, with only doing, only narrating it once. And then I get to make a couple $100 every month, as the books sell. And interestingly enough, to this day, I still make, between $300 to $500, $300 to $400 now. It doesn't make as much as it did 4 or 5 years ago, but I'm still making money every month from work I did in 2017. Right? You know what I mean? So like that's pretty amazing to me because I don't do anything. Do you know what I mean? That money just comes in. Now, the sad thing about the royalty share as a narrator is that after 7 years, it goes away. So you don't have the rights to it anymore. But here's the thing. With ghostwriters, right, with books in the public domain, with you being able to narrate, I mean, you can create. I mean, we had a young man in our group when we did the live coaching panel the other night, who he's 16 years old. And, he said that he got his first book up. He worked with someone else, co-authored a book, took something in the public domain, added to it. So like Kindle publishing walks you through what you need to add to a public domain book, you know what I mean, in order to be able to publish it, you know, as your version. You know, like one of it's like, you know, annotated, one of it's like, you know, add up to 10 original pieces of artwork, you know, or more that go with it. Or, you know, the other part is, I think, you know, an in-depth bibliography or something, right? You know, something where you're adding a lot of value to it. You know what I'm saying? And then once you publish that, then you go into the narrating. You can narrate the book yourself, and then you own that forever. All right. Then you move into a marketer. Just like, you know, I preach all the time about the business that we do, right? It's about marketing, and it's about getting yourself out there, and it's about getting people to know who you are. So you're driving traffic. You know, if you build a website, we want to make sure that your website actually gets people coming to it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, so to me, these things always go through my mind, because I'm like, well, what if I want to take a month off? You know, like we just said, what if in my particular case now, I'm moving, I need to renovate. It's probably going to take 2 to 3 months, right, to do what we're doing, especially since it's over the holidays and we're going into winter. So, you know, who knows? And then with materials the way they are, you know what I mean? And being able to order them and getting stuff, I don't know, right? And then how much we're going to do, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, you know, there's a lot of things up in the air. So, you know, that's a lot of time to just be in limbo and, you know, not to have freedom or to worry about the income. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, see, now my wife comes home from her job. So, like, you know, the voiceover business is taking care of all of this. Right. It's funding everything here. And, you know, I'm very blessed and thankful that it's going well and it's doing a good job. But, you know, I just wanted to talk to you about, it's so interesting how we go to different parts of our journey. And, you know, to me now, it's like, okay, so now in the part of my journey, it's like, how does this business move along with me? You know what I mean? Like, even though I built it in my previous home, this home I'm in right now is where I really built the business, right? Like, this home is where it was taken to that level where I was able to bring my wife home. You know, I was able to, you know, we were able to buy, you know, a 12-acre horse farm. You know, we were able to, you know, change our lives. And I think that now that we're moving to the next stage of our life, you know, going to this place, it is something different to think about for me. Like, how, again, you know, it's like, you know, we spend time, I think, or we don't spend time rather, evaluating where we are in our business. Okay. Cause usually, especially when you're first starting out, it's always like, what is that very next thing? You know, what is the thing that's bugging me? If I could just get the studio done, if I could just get that foam, or if I could just get those crackles out of my sound, if I could just figure out the breaths, if I could just figure out the mouth clicks, if I could just figure out my interface, if I could just figure out the chords, if I could just figure out you know, all of that. And then voice acting, you know, if I could just not screw up in every other line that I say, if I could just figure out how to process my audio faster when I'm doing audiobooks, you know, if I could just sound like I'm not a robot. We all go through all these things. But it's interesting, you know, when all that stuff is working and it's past you, because you will get to a point where none of that stuff is really affecting you anymore. You know, I mean, you know what to do. You're very familiar and comfortable with your own voice and how you narrate, and you know how to fix your voice inside and out. You know the frequencies. That's another thing too. And I get off topic here, but you know, you will get to a point where you will know the frequencies, like, I know the frequencies, right? Like, I'm between 6,932 hertz to 7,340 hertz is where I struggle with S's, sibilants. And by reducing those with a width around, you know, 9, like a Q width, right, around 9 and 8 to 9, which is a nice full width, and then being able to reduce that by 8 to, you know, probably, well, sometimes I could even reduce it by 10 to 12 dB. That will get rid of any issue of sibilance I have. Now, if you know what I'm talking about, good for you. If you have no idea what I just said, That's okay too. But I had no idea. I wouldn't even have been like, I've been like, what are you smoking if I said that to myself a couple years ago? But what I'm saying to you is that is through using a parametric equalizer, being able to narrow in on, and the only reason I know that is because I've done it so much and I've worked with my voice so much now that I know it. So you will get past that. Do you know what I mean? And when you do, it just becomes an interesting thing as, this is, I wonder moving forward how life will look like down the road. And when you, like, let's say you go somewhere, are you thinking of your business currently as a means for you to be able to, and gosh, I haven't said this in the longest time, but think about it this way. Is your business, are you building a business to give you the life you want? All right. Or are you building a business, okay, to, make you, or wait, how do I say it? I think it was either, you're building something to give you the life you want, or you're building something to, control what you do during your life. You know what I mean? Or like one gives you freedom, one really does limit it, and I would say, are you building a business or are you building a job? I have really tried hard recently, especially within the last year, 6 months to a year, to, work on how could I bring as much value and help as many voice actors as I can, while in the meantime creating a viable business, that I could be a lot more mobile with, and it wasn't so dependent on me being in one location with one really good setup. And I think the Academy has really, really been a part of that. And, it serves in so many levels, right? I mean, the main goal of the Academy is to help voice actors, right, start and grow their business, and also to have a positive, supportive community. That when you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, you don't know how to take that next step, you're confused, you've got a support base there that is always going to be there with you, and not just for the technical stuff or the acting stuff, but also the emotional stuff. Like, we go through a lot of emotional stuff. Like I said to you, I'm scared as hell because I don't know how any of this is going to go. I've never done it before, nor have I ever moved. When we moved to this house, my business was, I still worked a full-time job. You know what I mean? I was not fully independent, but I haven't worked, like for someone else for a couple years now. And I'm not that I'm going to, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, it's just really, interesting. It's scary because, I don't want everything to fall apart. I don't think it will, you know what I mean? But these are the fears that we all have. And being a part of a community allows you to, and like, for example, you guys here, even though I know I can't see you and I'm not sitting in the car with you, or, talking right next to you, I know it's nice to share with you guys what's going on with me, because it helps me too. It helps me feel better. And thank you guys so much for listening and being a part of a VO's journey. But I can tell you this, I am going to make sure that I record and bring you along with me on this journey, so you can see. So when the time comes for you to do it, do you know what I mean? You're going to be at least that much in the wiser about what to do and maybe what not to do, as always, like I say. And, it should be an interesting adventure for us. I think it's going to be, it's going to be scary, and it's going to be weird and interesting, but, I'm going to hopefully, bring you guys along on that journey with me. So just to conclude everything up, make sure you take some time, whether it's once a week or once every couple weeks, and, step away from the actual doing things in your business and think about, how you are moving, what direction are you moving in? What are you trying to get to? What does it look like if your business is fully where you want it to be? And can you go on that? Here's a perfect example, like, just real quick, that dream of going on the beach, sitting on the beach somewhere in like Tahiti or something, or, the Caribbean or somewhere, wherever you are. And, sitting on the beach with a laptop, and just enjoying life while still being able to do work from wherever you are, and, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, the reality is we can't do that. We you can't record on you know what I mean? We had to have a studio. We had to have something set up. So what I'm trying to say to you is that, but at the same time, if we approach our business as more of a how do we take our talents, how do we take our knowledge of audio and turn those also into digital products of some kind, I think it can also be beneficial. And there are a couple of different ways. So then you realize, again, it goes back to that age-old thing. If you can drive traffic, if you can get in front of more people, right, more eyeballs, you will win. So anyways, I tried to give some thoughts about that. It's going through my head and what's going on with me. And I will keep up. We've got Thanksgiving next week. So I'm excited about that. We have some friends who invited us over, so that would be nice because we're, and then Christmas, I don't know hopefully where we're going to go. We usually never, we always usually host everything here, but but we're going to be going over probably some family members. So here's another thing too, because of what's happening, I'm going to be going to different places. I'm going to be traveling. Do you know what I mean? And so I still need to be able to run my business while at the same time being able to travel. See, so this is another thing that we all go through, especially during this time of the year, right? So it's definitely going to be interesting, and I'm definitely going to be documenting it all for you guys, and you can laugh at me while I screw up everywhere. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful day. Hey, check out VO's Journey Elite Academy if you're interested. We like I said, besides the incredible amount of knowledge from the classes we have every week, the community is like none other. So check it out. There'll be a link below there. But other than that, you guys have an amazing week, an amazing Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you later. All right, guys. Bye-bye.